So today we're doing browser extensions. I'm gonna do some live coding. As you can see, we got no slides here, and I'm gonna just kind of hack around. And I don't know why them flash. Why would you design it like that? Is that only for like an emergency? You got the flashing lights. So it's going to be a lot of live coding. Feel free to suggest sites. We had Autolab and Odin, the Odin project recommended. So we'll continue that. I did some of the preliminary stuff last time, so we can have more time to just kind of hack around and mess around with stuff today. So if you got suggestions, let me know. So last time, we saw that we could modify HTML. So we can modify anything we want. Total score, more like total bore. And we can change anything we want on the front end, including forms. We can submit whatever we want. And then we took it a step further and we said, we can go into the console and start typing our own JavaScript. And type our own JavaScript whenever we want. Let me get this reloaded. And we would say something like academic integrity checkbox dot checked equals true. And that'll check that checkbox using JavaScript, using code, instead of going into the console, I guess, developer console, and modifying the HTML directly, manually. Let's have code do it. But really, we have to manually type that code, right? Like, that doesn't really help. Why would we do that? The answer is browser extensions. So what if I want a browser extension which is going to do this? And it's right in front of my face, so I'm going to end up using this as the example, even though I shouldn't. But I'm going to write a browser extension. Here's what I want to do. An extension that's automatically going to check the academic integrity checkbox. I don't recommend this one. Go break different sites, but let's do this one. It's levified by browser extensions. I'm going to use one of these. Let's collapse all these first. I have these two that I want to talk about, but one of these I'm going to copy, paste, so I have a starting point, and I'll explain the starting point. And where's my rename? Rename to AI check. Sure. I'm going to, I'll leave the console.log there. It's fine. And I want to talk about this. This I didn't feel like retyping. This is the format for, question already. What's up? This is about right. This room's more than twice as big as the enrollment for the class. So it's been like this since day one. It thins out, of course, but we're not missing half the class. Yeah. Yes, thank you. There's nothing more frustrating when nobody speaks up, and I go a whole lecture where nobody can see, like the back half of the room can't see what's going on. Is that good? Okay. Oh, let's one less so I can fit everything on the screen. Okay. So what we want to do, our ultimate goal here, is to get some JavaScript code that's going to run whenever we visit a page. That's what we want. In essence, that's what a browser extension is. So when you install extensions on your browser, that's what you're doing, is taking somebody's JavaScript that they wrote and made available to you, downloaded it onto your browser, and said, run this code whenever I visit this page. So to tell the browser what to do, we need to add a manifest.json with some very specific fields that I clearly don't have memorized because you just saw me cut and paste it for my other example. First, the manifest version. Usually I don't have much to say about this one, but oh boy. Manifest version, this is the version of the manifest file that you want to use. That's going to tell what names you need. And why am I struggling on this one? It's like HTTP version 1.1. If I put 1.2 here, I would have to follow the 1.2 I don't think there is an HTTP 1.2, so that's a bad example, but it's the version that I'm going by. What protocol am I using? So the browser knows how to interpret all the values in this JSON object. Google, in its infinite wisdom and love for all of us, is getting rid of manifest version 2 and switching to 3, which has a lot more restrictions on what you can do with browser extensions. And Chrome is going to stop allowing manifest version 2 and only allow manifest version 3. The big takeaway for this one is that they're essentially going after ad blockers. Your ad blocker is a browser extension that runs JavaScript, blocks ads, looks for the calls to ads, removes them from pages, has a whole bunch of JavaScript to do all this stuff. And Google doesn't like that so much, because in essence, Google is an ad agency. That is what they are. And they're going to try to get rid of some of that. So in Chrome, in Chromium-based browsers, you have to use manifest version 3, and you'll have less power in your extensions. But it is what it is. Google has a lot of power, and they want us to see their ads. They're going to do something like that. And then the name. So let's get past the controversial one. The name, I'm going to call this AI check, because why not? I'm not positive if spaces are allowed, so I'm going to put my underscore. Version, this is the version of my extension. I can put whatever version number I want here. 0.1 is fine. If I want another minor version number, 0.0.1, or if I want to call this 1.0 to signify I'm ready for release, or if I want to call it, hey y'all, I can put whatever I want here. But this is the version of my software. I'll stick with 0.1. I like that as signifying something that's pre-release. If you have a major version number of 0, that's usually a pre-release in development software. Get a little off topic there, but hey. And then my scripts. So I'm going to have a list of scripts. This is the last required piece to the manifest.json. So this content scripts is going to be what JavaScript I want to run and when. So we're going to say when I get a URL matching this regular expression, run this JavaScript. So let me rename my JavaScript to make this make a little more sense. Rename, let's call it AI.json. So I want to run AI.json whenever I'm at a page that matches edu/star. So everything on AutoGrader, the star meaning any path, but whenever I visit this machine, this server, using HTTPS, run this JavaScript. So you can specify whatever site you want here, or you can just do star. Just say, every time something loads in my browser, run this JavaScript. So once the page loads, run this JavaScript, any page I visit. For this one, I'm writing it specifically for the AutoGrader, for AutoLab. So I'm going to say, whenever I visit AutoLab, even if I'm on my assignments page, I could change this to only be pages that show an academic integrity text box so I don't get errors in my console. I'm going to say, whenever I visit any path on the server, run this JavaScript. Right now, it just says, hello world. But I want to show you how to install this first, and then we'll expand this to be a little more interesting. Well, you know what? I think I have it in my clipboard anyway. No, I don't. Let's just go for it anyway. Why wouldn't I? And then we're going to look for that checkbox and run that code whenever we visit the page. To add this to my browser, and this is one thing that luckily is true across all browsers, all mainstream browsers, I should say, that Google and Chrome, they developed this browser extension model. That's why they get to change the version number and come out with manifest version 3. They came up with it, and all Chromium browsers, of course, Chromium-based, Opera being a Chromium-based browser, just automatically get that functionality. But then Edge, well, Edge is Chromium-based now too. Firefox, I guess, is my best example. Firefox, which is its own thing, said, you know what, we're going to use that same exact format for our browser extensions. So you write a browser extension for one browser, you've written a browser extension for all of them. You can install this in any mainstream browser. I'm a little hesitant to say Safari does the same thing because Apple likes to really mess things up. Safari is the new Internet Explorer. It's painful. If you go out in the industry and you start writing apps, you'll find that your Safari users, like half your features are always broken. It's a frustrating thing we have to deal with. But anyway, I'm going to go to my extensions. I'm going to manage my extensions. I'm going to do load unpacked. This might be slightly different for each browser, so you have to look up a tutorial and find exactly where to get your stuff. Where is my CC312? No. Oh shit, where do I have my stuff? Users, a bunch of slides because I download them every time. CC312 examples, where actually are you? Find file references, reveal in Finder. Users, oh, in Dropbox. Okay. This is dangerous, but I'll go into my Dropbox. That's fine. Shit, what was the path? Shared teaching 312. Okay. We can do this. Teaching, CC312, examples, AI check. Okay, and you're going to navigate your directory structure and find the directory where all your stuff is. And you're going to load everything from that directory. You can also pack it. You saw load pack, load unpack. You can pack it, I believe, in a tarball or a zip file. I don't even remember. But I'm just going to load unpacked, which means I'm going to point to the directory with all the stuff. That directory has to contain a manifest.js, and then anything else you need for your extension. I only have one JavaScript file, so just my JavaScript file and my manifest. Did I say JS? Manifest.json, and that's going to be my extension. Selecting the directory, and that just added that extension to my browser. Oh, it's a pack extension. So now I have AI check version 0.1, things that I put in my manifest.json that the browser parsed, and I have this in my browser now. Now I should, we'll see if everything works, go to inspect element. I'm going to go to my console. I'm going to refresh the page. Here's my hello from my new extension. My checkbox is checked. The extension went. If we watch close enough, we should. Oh, it's not scrolled at the right spot. We should be able to see that being checked. So the page loads, and then on page load, the browser says, "Hey, extensions, do your thing." My extension said, "Well, this path matches what my developer told me to do, so I'm going to run that JavaScript. That JavaScript finds this element and checks it." So the page loads, and then the extension runs. So we can see that box being checked by my extension. Yeah?
Where'd the console come from?
Where'd the console come from? I right-clicked and did inspect element, and then I went to the console tab. So the network tab, we've hung out here quite a bit in class. Hopefully you use that during your homework. Did I explain this, right? This is going to show all the HTTP requests that are made to visit a page, which is always lots to visit any modern page. And like 4 to visit even just the examples page in homework 1. A lot of HTTP requests. So you can see all the headers for these. Here's all your response headers, the request headers, the actual the body of the response, and then that should have been a rendered response, but the body of the response and then the rendered response. I did that backwards. This is JavaScript, so the response doesn't get rendered at all. But if I go to don't know why it's not doing that. But anyway, but I went into that and then went to the console tab. This is wherever you say console.log, this is where it goes. Yeah.
Might be a little off topic, but do you is there a reason you use Opera over other browsers or something like that?
No.
Or stuff like that?
No. I don't have a good reason. I just switch browsers every once in a while. When I get sick of one, I just go to another one. I used to use Firefox all the time, and one day I just got pissed off at it, and I'm like, I'm picking a new one, but I don't feel like going to Chrome because everybody uses Chrome. And then I found out Opera existed, and I've been happy with it. I mean, it runs on Chromium, so it's basically Chrome, which means it takes up all my resources still. But I like it. Plus, it has some neat little features. If you open a private window, you get a free VPN for what it's worth. It is free, so it's not the best VPN. But if you just don't want to pay for a VPN and you want to do something privately, it's built right into the browser. So that's neat. That's the one feature I can say that this browser has that others don't. And everything else is, the console looks exactly like Chrome because it is Chromium. For those of you who aren't aware yet, Chromium is, actually I think Chrome is open source too. Is Chrome open source?
No, only Chromium.
Chromium is, okay. So Chromium is open source, it's built by Google, and it's the core of what Chrome is. It's all the core functionality and everything. Bless you. And then for Chrome, they take Chromium and build Chrome, the browser, on top of it, and then release Chrome. And then Chrome is, I thought it was closed source, but I wanted to be sure. Chrome, as I just learned, is closed source, so we can't see the source. But since Chromium is open source, a lot of browsers will take that as their starting point and then build their code of paint on top of it to build their browser. So Opera, Edge now, Microsoft came over to the dark side, which is probably better than Internet Explorer. So, and Chrome, of course, and several others, a bunch of others, but I think those are the major players. They all built their browsers on top of Chromium. So those three browsers are going to behave very, very similar in almost all cases. That's why when we test your code and when we tell you to test your code, pick one of the Chromium browsers and Firefox, because Firefox is its own completely separate thing, which is completely open source, which is awesome. But they build their stuff different. They don't build off of Chromium. So you will get different behaviors in Firefox, which most of the time they still follow the protocols. So it's a good way to test on, you test on Firefox, you test on a Chromium-based browser. It's a good way to test if you followed the protocols or if you just coded specifically to Chrome. That's why we test on both of those. And then Safari is the other major player that is not Chromium-based. It's, of course, closed source because it's Apple. But they also don't quite follow the protocols the way they should. And newer features that come out, I don't know this one specifically, so I maybe shouldn't pick on them, but newer protocols that come out, like WebRTC, they're slow to adapt. And when they do adapt, sometimes they have little quirks and things. They're not good at following the protocols of the internet. They're not good at reading the RFC and implementing that exactly. Again, they're Apple, that's kind of what they do. They want full control. They want to do things their way. So it's not surprising, but it is frustrating. And to the point where I won't say this has to also work on Safari for your homeworks, because it's just too tall of a task. You'll be spending half your time adapting to Safari. Anyway, enough of that. I'm getting opinionated today. I should probably cut that down a little bit. But that's how we write our browser extensions. We just write whatever JavaScript we want. Now when we want to edit these elements, so last time we deleted some elements. We wanted, I want to try to do this live. I didn't prep this, so I just kind of want to see how this one goes. I shouldn't even preface it like that. I should just do it and then have it be incredible. Oh, this is all in separate stuff. What is this one? Oh, you know what? This ain't going to work because these are all separate. These aren't contained in anything. I want to try to move handouts to the top. You know what? I'm not even going to try to do that. That's going to be a little tough. Yeah, I'm not going to make you watch me do that. Yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but you could delete the handout tag and then just create a new tag at the top.
Wait, what was that?
You could
This guy, yeah, the problem is it's not, like, all the content. Like, I can move this header up there, but I wanted to get all of my handouts, like all the submissions, have that be at the top. I could do it by, you know what, let's do this part at least. Let's just delete the things like we did last time. Do I want to do this? You know what, no, let's do something more fun. What's the Odin Lab website? Oh, I did get there. What do we want to break with Odin Lab? This is suggested. I want to do it because it'll be funny. But what do we want to break? I haven't been to this site in a while. What do we got?
Replace the font with Comic Sans.
Let's replace the font with Comic Sans. Yes. Okay. We can do this. So when you're building an extension, or when I'm building an extension, this is what I like to do. I'm going to play around in the console for a while to get what I want, and then when it's time to actually make the extension, I'm going to cut and paste my JavaScript and dump it into my console, into my extension. So what I want to do is look at the structure of this page first. It looks like these are paragraphs. That's good for me, because I'm going to say get elements by ID, get document dot get elements by ID. Oh, what am I doing? By get elements. Oh my goodness. By I'll get there. By tag name, and then I'm going to get every paragraph. I'm going to put this in some variable, paragraphs, sounds good to me. And I'm going to say paragraphs dot for each. First, I'm just going to make sure that this much works. So for each element dot inner HTML equals but. For each is not a function. Why isn't for each a function? Sorry, what was that? Like array. Oh, because I see. Because that's an iterator, not a data structure. Okay. Now it just says but. All right, so let's refresh the page. I'm going to get my paragraphs back. And then instead of modifying the inner HTML, I'm going to modify the style. And I'm going to blank on the syntax here if somebody can help me out. How do I change the font?
I think it's font-family.
Family, I think it's colon for style equals. Oh, we got to go Comic Sans for the memes. Comic Sans, there's no way that's going to work for me. Style.find. Oh, I was doing extra. I was doing more work than I need to. I thought it was going to be. Oh, yeah, I see what I did. Font. Family. Capital F. Camel case. Let's at least make sure this works. Okay. Then is Comic Sans just one word?
It's Comic space Sans space MS.
Space MS. There we go. Okay, so we can grab this. Oh, what am I? Oh, because I was already in my browser. Let's copy this again. Oh, what am I doing? Rename. I'll just name it Odin. Rename Odin.js. Manifest Odin Sands. Is it just Odin? Odin.cc.buffalo.edu. Get the domain name right. Change this to Odin. Go to my, not that one. Where's AI check? AI, grab this again. Go to Odin's code. Get rid of, I already had it there anyway. I'm going to leave my console.log there. Just so I like having that so I know my extension's running. If I'm trying to debug something and I don't even see that console.log, that means I know I messed up something in my manifest.json, usually this part right here. So I like having this console.log, helps me develop. I want this line. We'll save that. Go to my extensions. Load unpacked. Go up one. Odin. Select. I'll leave this open so we can see that print statement. Refresh, and we got Comic Sans forever. Forever on this laptop. Odin Lab will always be in Comic Sans. I love it. What else do we want to do? I haven't been watching Chad either. I've been busy coding. But we already have a font, though. We got our font picked out. Fair. H3. H2. H3. I know I just said that I don't usually do this, but I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to write a function. I don't like duplicate code, and you shouldn't either. So whenever I see duplicate code, I'm going to try to avoid it. So function change font. This is going to take an LM type and a font. And I'm going to take my code here, put it in my function, LM type, font, and then I'm going to call my function a few times. So I'm going to call change font P Comic Sans MS. H2 Papyrus, maybe. We'll debug that one when it comes time. And H3s. And then clean up this code a little bit. So now that I changed my my extension, I'm going to go into my extensions, Odin Sans, and just refresh. That's going to go back to disk, load everything so I have all my changes, and go to the Odin Lab, refresh, and there we go. I'm glad I spelled that right. I just guessed. And we got Papyrus. What else do we want to break? Yeah.
Can you go to other pages and see if like the format holds up? Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, I love it. Oh, did he use an H1 there? I should have just done all the headers. I'm still not going to learn my lesson. Down with Apple, down with Mac OS. I like Apple products, but man, they make a lot of weird decisions. Can I replace all YouTube thumbnails with my face? Can I? Can I do that? Maybe. I don't know if I could pull that off in the next 18 minutes, though. So I'll put the image in the, you know what, if you want me to try it. I need my face. The second one? You want the one at the train station? The second one, this one? I don't know. Fine. I'm going to throw this in the AI WebP. Okay. So I'm going to borrow. I'm going to borrow my extension here. I'm going to put a new match just because I don't really have time to start a new one. If we're going to try to do this, YouTube.com. My JS is going to be, let's call it YT for YouTube. Rename. So the problem is, the reason I don't want to try this is I don't know how to read this image. So I'm going to have to do some Googling here. But we can at least do the rest of this. Get element by, probably going to be class. We got to go to YouTube in a private window. Inspect element. Let's just replace every image, right? Are these all just images? I'm going to replace every image. Why wouldn't I? I'm going to replace every image, get by class, no, get by the same way we just did this. By tag name. Actually, I want both of these lines. Get element img. Then for each lm.src equals, and here's where I don't know how to point it to that image. So what do we put right here? Yeah, we are going to get there. Why am I overthinking this? I'm trying to put it in the extension. Let me just put this URL. Yeah, that was way easier than I thought it was going to be. I'm trying to download it, and I don't need this at all. Okay, so I'm going to AI check. I'm going to go to my private tab. I'm going to go to extensions. Privacy, snapshot. Well, let's just try it. I don't think this will work, though. I need to go to privacy protections, manage exceptions, block ads, block trackers. So in a private window, I'm not going to YouTube on my account, and I'm logged in. But in a private window, it's going to block your extensions. It's right in extensions? Because I know that exists. I just don't know where to find it. Not there. Extensions. Oh, it's right here. Thank you. And then we're going to go back to YouTube, and we're going to hope that this does it. So I don't get hello from my extension. AI check. Refresh. Did I? I think I did. YouTube.com. I don't have www. Okay, over here, refresh it. I have hopes here. There's my extension. My extension ran. Okay, let's go back into inspect element. Oh my God. Oh, but why? T.js. Let's make sure this file is running. I'm getting images, calling them paragraphs, lm.src. If we run this in the console, will it work? Okay. Wait, that's not, we can't celebrate yet. We can't celebrate yet. I want it with the extension. I'll access the search page results. Hey, why not? Details. Bitter. Well, we know it's running, though. You know what? I know what's going to happen. I know what this is going to be. I think we can get here. Set timeout. So Google loads a lot of content after the page load. It's probably loading the thumbnails after my extension replaces them. So let's just make this hesitate for a bit. Function. Oops. Do all this. And then wait a second to do all that. Save. I have high hopes for this one. Refresh. Yeah. Oh, God. Why did we do this? Anyway, that's browser extensions. So any page where you don't like anything about it, just write yourself a browser extension. Yeah.
When is this being uploaded to the Chrome web server?
It's TBD. All right, let me get the Odin Lab back up, so that's what Oliver sees when he comes back in. Actually, he'll see the lecture question, won't he? And I'm just going to end on the win and go to the lecture question. The lecture question is going to take you a little bit of time today, so we can use the extra time. I've been wanting to do this for so long, I finally did it. This is the best question. Somebody's going to submit D, and I'm waiting for it. And I'm going to upload an F. Because somebody's sitting at home right now like, oh, a lecture question. And they're just going to pick a random number or random letter. All right, have a great day. I'll see y'all Friday. Oh, question?